2019. Head to tiny.cc/yourbook to check it out. That's tiny.cc/yourbook to check it out. Now, on with the podcast.
Welcome to Your Success Podcast. We give you actionable insight and stories behind real-life success wherever you go. Here are your hosts, Angelos and Mo.
Your Success Podcast is proudly sponsored by Your Tax Partners, specialists in helping business owners and property investors to understand the wide range of tax issues that impact on their income, gains, and overall wealth. Now, let's get into the show.
Welcome to Your Success Podcast. I'm Angelos.
And I'm Mo. And today is a super special 2018 wrap-up episode. And what an incredible year it's been.
It's been amazing, Mo.
It has. But before we get onto that, check out our new gear. You see this? We've now gone wireless.
Yeah.
On the mics, we've got these little jobbies here.
Pretty cool, which means better quality and more mobile, and we don't have to lug around a massive suitcase everywhere. So awesome.
Absolutely. So yeah, I can't believe it's almost the end of 2018.
What, another week or so left and then it's done.
Yeah.
It's been an incredible year for Your Success Podcast, Your Success book, our personal businesses. It's been brilliant. So shall we have a quick run through, Mo, of the key highlights?
What else?
I've got a brand new Casio watch. Oh, and a little baby as well. So little Alexander, he was born a week or so ago now.
Yeah, incredible.
Just life-changing.
How's it been?
Brilliant.
Yeah?
Absolutely brilliant.
Sleeping?
Fairly well, but he sleeps during the day and wakes during the night, like
good.
Batman, so I don't expect anything less, really. But no, it's absolutely life-changing.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah,
It's
amazing.
just awesome having someone there who, you made, and you have this great...
I didn't make him.
No, well, we're waiting for the DNA results, aren't we? But yeah, it's just brilliant having this little human being that you can just help grow into whatever he's going to grow into.
It is amazing. I met him today for the first time, and he's pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, he just slept for the whole time, but
the best way, right?
That's what they do, I guess. Like you say, sleep in the day.
Indeed.
And wake up all night. Cool. Okay. So yeah, I don't really know where to start. We've had so much going on, but probably start at the beginning of the year. And the opening episode for 2018 was with Jackie Tomes.
Indeed, who's a strategy specialist who helps set the right tone, the right vision for the year ahead. And I'm sure you did the same with your business, but I certainly did. And it's been a very, very good year. Yeah. But I think it's very important, especially as we go into 2019, you need to have a rough idea or quite a precise idea, depending on who and how you work, where you're going to go, right?
Doesn't it feel weird not talking into a mic?
I can just look at your beautiful face even better.
It feels a bit weird. I think I'm used to leaning forward and speaking into it.
It's more intimate.
It is a little bit. It's like a lot of eye contact.
Yeah, I'm liking this.
I'm down with that. I'm going to relax a little bit on my chair.
Yeah.
It's so important to set your goals and your vision and things like that at the beginning of the year, and then also to review them at the end and see how did you do against that. What could you have done better? What did you do better than you expected? And how can you sort of roll that into next year?
And write it down, because then rather than, I think I said this in 2018 January, write it down, and then that way you can monitor, measure, and see how you've performed.
Yeah. And then we had we're not going to go through every episode, but just call out some other good episodes that we had. Obviously, they're all good, amazing, but we talked about shiny pennies, so there's the importance of focus and not getting distracted, which again is something else that you could review at the end of the year and be like, well, how did I do in terms of focus? Did I do what I said I was going to do at the beginning of the year, or did other opportunities come along?
Or why I ended up with £10,000 worth of Bitcoin.
That was £100,000.
Oh, Jesus, a year ago, that was the next great best thing, wasn't
that's it?
And now look at it.
I know. And then busting pricing myths with Peter Hill. So we've had Peter on a few times now, which has been amazing. There's always loads of wisdom when we go and see him, isn't there?
Definitely.
So that was really good, talking a lot about pricing. We have Mr. James Jordan, my PT, on talking about your health in episode 23. As the viewers can see, we've both done pretty well with our health this year.
With the chocolate cookies just out of sight there. And the Nando's booked.
Table booked at Nando's. But no, I think all jokes aside, it's been a 6 out of 10 for health probably for me this year.
mine's been staggered, like start. It's not been consistent, and it's such a shame because it should be a lot better. Because investing in your health is probably the most important thing you're ever going to do, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's
I
probably
think that'll become more important as you go on with your.
But it seems to be the first thing that goes.
Yeah.
When other things come into play, like business or friends or just having a good time. I'll go for the run next week or whatever, and it shouldn't be like that at all.
We just need to find a way to get it into the schedule. I've started actually going to see James a couple of times a week now when I'm down in Plymouth, and it's working quite well. Just has to be booked in. There's the accountability.
Right? Yeah,
definitely. So that's cool.
So who else have we had, Mo?
We have had Andrea.
Oh yeah, the Hollywood actress.
Yeah, and she's done some incredible things even since we recorded with her.
She's
right?
been on the major TV show Krypton about Superman's life or his parents' life beforehand. And she's doing some outstanding stuff, and she keeps popping up in all these major productions. So it's really cool.
Great, really good to see. Probably as a result of the
podcast.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Mark Stokes, we talked about running 251 kilometres through the Sahara Desert, and I think obviously there's a lot of determination and perseverance that goes into that, but also just he's had such an interesting business career that it was really interesting to talk through.
He's an awesome guy. Yeah. He's got a great, he brings a great wisdom to any kind of board he's on.
And professionalism.
Awesome guy. Great episode.
Yeah. Ollie Phillips, ex-England Rugby Sevens captain.
Who was at his peak, doing loads of great stuff, and then suddenly, bang, nerve went in his leg, I think it was. And it took him out of this. His whole career had been around rugby, and then suddenly he couldn't perform anymore. Not like that, but on the rugby pitch.
Well, we know not like that because
he's had a baby, which we hope is his. So,
but he's just actually been, I think, to Everest Base Camp as well on a charity.
Yeah, I mean that's
cool.
outstanding, isn't it? I mean, how many people do we know that have gone to Everest? I mean, what an outstanding
really
achievement!
Raising funds for charity, so that's cool. And then around about March time, we had the rebrand. So up until that point, unbelievably, we were still Pig Pods, and then we sort of rebranded into Your Success Podcast. And then that's when we sort of started talking about the book as well.
Yeah, because at that point we started accumulating quite a bit of wisdom from other people, and then we thought, well, maybe we should write this down. Maybe we should put this into some kind of structure. Also drawing upon our own experiences with business and whatever else. And then this book was born. This idea was born in my loft, and it was just brilliant. I think I was saying to someone today, if you have a book within you, it's definitely worth going down that road and writing it, because it's been such a rewarding experience. It hasn't been easy. There's been a lot of time that we've had to put into it. But definitely. What an experience, and what a great way of raising the exposure of the podcast, inspiring people. We had, we were #1 Amazon bestsellers, which is a great achievement. So thank you to everyone who supported us. We really do appreciate it. And we had about 200 odd people who came to the cinema post-book launch party, where we entertained people. Hopefully, we paid people to laugh.
Quite a lot of people came for dinner with us after, so it can't have been that bad.
Yeah, it can't have been that bad. It was a great way to say thank you for supporting us. And we have another book in the pipeline, which is coming out later next year. Yeah. Are we allowed to say what it's called, Mo?
No.
Okay.
Top secret.
Top secret.
But we will.
We will in time. But we think it's going to be a really great sister book to Your Success.
And a lot of people have also downloaded the Your Success Toolkit, right? That comes as part of the book. And that's really cool, because that's really where the rubber meets the road, as they say.
Indeed.
And where the actual, what we wrote about in the book can start to become tangible, sort of life-changing stuff.
Yeah, because there's a lot of books out there talk about the theory, whereas the toolkit says, right, you've got the theory, let's start implementing it and helping you. And we've had some great feedback, and we sold books all around the world. I think,
and we're still selling like a few a week, right?
Yeah,
now?
Indeed. So it hasn't tailed off too badly at all. And the good thing is that it's reaching people that we never would have dreamt of. So, for example, with a few of the books are reaching Nepal. Where it's helping some girls who have had a very bad past, and they're trying to change their lives for the better. So there's this refuge up there, and the book is there, hopefully inspiring them to continue the good work they're doing. So who would have thought back in March, Mo, that would be happening, man?
No, it's crazy, really. Yeah, it's mad. So episode 33, we talked to Nicole Bremner, actually for the first time.
Yeah, indeed.
It feels like she's been on quite a few podcasts.
I don't know how she achieves it.
Not a bad thing, because we always have a good time and there's loads of...
we always have a good laugh with Nicole,
yeah.
but she's very experienced in the world of social media, marketing. She's got some merchandise now, which is brilliant, and she's a great developer. Yeah. And we were in one of her multi-million-pound developments, and that was outstanding.
Yeah. So that was really good fun.
And she's Australian, which is always a good thing.
Because you like Kylie.
I like Kylie, yeah.
So that was really cool. And then we had two special episodes with Jeffrey Wigand.
Oh yeah, Dr. Wigand. So he's been a hero of mine since, for 20 odd years now. Yeah. So he was a whistleblower against the tobacco industry. He basically went on the record and said the top tobacco guys, they knew that tobacco was addictive, even though they testified that it wasn't. And he whistleblowed against them, and he was sued for billions of dollars, and he won. But it was one hell of a journey, a massive sacrifice for his family and everything like that. And now he's still campaigning out there in his 70s, trying to help Japan and all these other countries to become smoke-free. Yeah. So he's a really inspiring man. I was very ill at the time with man flu, but I was determined to do this interview because he was such a great person. If people ask, why do you do the podcast, Angelos and Mo? Well, the answer is because we get to speak to amazing people like that.
Definitely, and then someone else who owes probably quite a lot of his success to appearing on the podcast, Mr. Mark Ormrod, 16th of April, episode 36. I mean, what a year he's had as well. Yeah. It's been incredible, isn't it?
So, the Invictus Games, he jumped into the pool to do breaststroke, I think, and won gold, never even trained for it. I mean, what balls that guy's got.
And I mean, all thanks to being on the podcast. I mean,
indeed, I haven't received any royalties yet.
Or thank you text, but you're welcome, Mark.
He's probably low on credit on his phone. He can't. There's issues.
And just saw today the new advert for Jaguar Land Rover. He's just been in, which is pretty cool as well.
Well done, Mark.
Yeah, amazing. So seriously, he's had a really good year. He's doing loads of good things for charity, and just going from strength to strength, which is wicked. Rob Moore. We had a few episodes where we put some of the content out from our Rob Moore discussion. Again, just really, love him or hate him, just very, very experienced marketer, property investor, developer, businessman.
He's a very successful person, like you say. He can be like Marmite, you either love him or anything, but you can't ignore his results. Yeah. And he's done extremely well. Yeah. And he gave us lots of great tips on parenting, on how to
business partners,
and I think that was really, really interesting because it's very easy, like he said, to focus on the negatives. He's got a very successful business partnership, and he was saying that it's important to always bring more to the table. It's not always, they should be this. You're not going to change your business partner. You have to accept them for who they are.
Over-deliver on value, and it'll come back.
Really, really great wisdom there.
That was really good, and his podcast is probably only second to ours in terms of.
He's getting there. He's trying his best, but he's it's a tall mountain.
He's had a few good people on there actually. Episode 48 in June, we actually had the commercial conversion panel in Exeter, at Pig in Exeter, which was really, really good actually. I really enjoyed
that's
that.
where we sat down.
Technical one, but it was good.
I know your business, Moorview and KHP. You focus on high-end HMOs and commercial property, so it's great to have James, your business partner, yourself, and other esteemed professionals from the world of development talking about how do you start, because we all want to be a developer, right? We all want to make the big money, whatever else, but is it really something that's going to work for you? Because there are lots of risks, there are lots of reward, and just allowing beginners to understand how to get into the world of development. That was a great panel.
And understand that behind the success stories and things like that, there's actually a lot of hard work and years of experience and failures that you might not see because you don't always put all your failures on social media and those kind of things. I think that's really important. And we spoke about dealing with haters as well.
Indeed, haters are our motivators, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So no matter what you do, there's always going to be some negative people, and there's no point really worrying about them because you're always going to attract it. Now, sometimes they are legitimately trying to help you in their negative way, and sometimes it is good feedback. But there's a lot of people, no matter how well you do, no matter how hard you push ahead and persevere, they're always going to have something negative to say, and not allowing that to get to you, right? You've got to have a thick skin in business.
And understand that it's saying more about where they are and their experiences than it is about you. They're sort of projecting their own fears or their own insecurities or whatever onto you.
Indeed, and sometimes if parents are being negative, it's not because they're trying to take you down. It's more that you're going outside of their comfort zone and your comfort
and what
zone,
they're used to,
and they're just trying to protect you. So it's just making sure you understand where it's coming from.
Yeah. Exactly. And then August and September, we had some episodes where we sort of did deep dives into this old thing.
Yep. The old book.
The old book. And yeah, it was really good. We sort of went through it. We went through each of the chapters and talked a little bit about sort of determination and perseverance, fear and limiting beliefs, environments, constant learning and growth, sort of the chapters from the book, which I thought was really good value actually, because
it gave people a snapshot
yeah.
about the book, and I think that did help us achieve more sales because it gave people an idea. This isn't just some kind of Mickey Mouse ebook. This is a well thought out, well structured book, if I can say so myself.
With so modest of you.
Where with real great value to try and help and inspire people to achieve the best version of themselves.
Yeah, 100%, as I would say.
Definitely.
And as Thea now says, 100%. And then Jackie Tomes was back with us on the 1st of October, talking about systems and the importance of systems, which is really, really important.
Indeed.
So it's really good to speak to her again. And then we had Mr. Mark Wright, so winner of The Apprentice in 2014.
Yeah.
That was on the 19th of November, that episode went out. So we caught up with him in London in a sort of hotel like corridor.
Yeah, it did look like
corridor.
It was an interesting video. That's for sure.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the video, I suggest you go and have a look at Mo interviewing Mark because
it was an interesting one. But I think the key thing there is we had an opportunity and we just went with it. It's not the best video, it's not the best audio, it's not the best lighting, but we got we've interviewed a winner of The Apprentice, and he talked about the grueling auditions process and what it's like to work with Lord Sugar and things like that. So.
And I think probably the lesson the lesson there is, start now, get perfect later.
Yeah,
You're never going to have a perfect thing, and that's what I keep hearing from people again and again is, I need it, this, just do it.
Yeah.
Just crack on and do it.
Yeah. And then you spoke to James Roberts.
Indeed.
TGB Paralympic athlete.
That's a guy who's been through the mill.
Yeah.
And he's persevered and he's just cracked on and he's competed in many different disciplines. He's done some incredible stuff.
Yeah. And then we actually had one of my highlight episodes for 2018.
That wasn't probably the best episode we've ever done.
It could be. I mean, the jury's out, but I think it could be up there. Do you want to introduce it?
Well, I would humbly say probably the best episode ever in the podcasting world, and that was when you interviewed me.
Yeah, in this very room.
Indeed, that was a really good interview actually. You asked me some challenging questions which I hadn't really considered before, but it's just a brief history of what I've been up to. If people are curious, hopefully they are.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to do yourself in the new year, because then the foot's on the other, the shoes on the other. Anyway, it's been a long day.
You didn't sleep much last night. You can basically use that as an excuse for anything now. Any
it's the baby. It's the baby
it's
brain.
Right? But you're going to interview me probably in the new year, and we'll put that out as well.
Yeah, absolutely, because you got an interesting tale to tell. That's for sure.
Hopefully, it's been a good year, so there is lots, and I think as well in the sort of theme of constant learning and growth, that hasn't all been easy. Very much not so.
Yeah. I think there's some English in there somewhere.
We've got to not record these at 9 o'clock.
Ironic for two people who went to grammar schools who are struggling to put together a sentence.
It's been the opposite of easy this year. I mean, we've grown loads. There's been loads of challenges, and we've got a lot to do next year. But been a really good year. So lots of learnings as well.
Indeed. And whilst we're doing all these great podcast stuff and writing these great books and whatever else, we've got to sustain our own businesses, right? And that's a massive.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
That has to be the absolute top priority.
After the baby.
After the baby.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been easy, like you say. There's been many ups and downs for us both, and sort of
challenges in terms of time, splitting time between the book and the podcast and different businesses and relationships and things like that is. Yeah, that's been a real challenge. But again, you learn that, you come out of it and you learn more about it at the end. Yeah, exactly.
So thank you to our partners for putting up with us.
Definitely, 100%. And so before we close, do you want to talk a little bit about the book?
What, this number one Amazon bestseller though? Right, okay, so your success, hidden traits of successful people and how you can become a success too. written by myself and Mo. So this book started because we want to share our inspiration, our wisdom, as well as drawing upon the wisdom of other people that we've interviewed, the hundreds of people that we've interviewed now, and put it into a book and just talk about the top 10 key traits of success.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to quickly rattle through them for those of you who haven't read the book, which is quite surprising.
Minority.
Yeah,
probably.
minority by now. So number 1, successful people define their vision of success. Number 2, successful people are inspired by their vision and can self-motivate.
Yeah.
Successful people constantly learning.
So
and
let's go
growing.
through them.
Go
So
on.
define the vision of success. So good thing to do at the beginning of 2019 or the end of 2018 now.
Mm-hmm.
Start to think about what does success in 2019 and beyond look like, and start to define that. Number 2, they can self-motivate and they're inspired. So they're inspired by what they've written. So they've written down, this is a good year for me next year, an excellent year, and going on from that. And then they get inspired by that because it's aligned to what they want from life. And they can also self-motivate themselves when the times get hard.
Indeed.
Number 3.
Number 3, constantly learning and growing.
Yeah. So along that process of the next year, they know that they don't know the answers now. If you knew all the answers to the problems now, you'd already have the results that you wanted at the end of next year. So you know that you're going to have to constantly learn and grow to get there.
Yeah, learning doesn't finish at school.
Yeah.
We're always learning, and you must continue to learn and push yourself because that's where you grow, right? Number 4, successful people are determined and they persevere through challenges. And this is probably one of the most important ones because you will come across a load of crap coming at you. And sometimes you have 3-4 challenges in one day and you just got to persevere. You've got to keep going. And that's where working with your success plan, which is aligned to your vision, which is very important, will keep you going through. Because yes, you'll have lots of crappy days, but as long as you keep your eye on the long ball
and you've got perspective,
and it's what you truly want, then it won't be such a big challenge.
And there's no way now going into 2019 you'll know like even half of the challenges that you're going to face. It'll be something completely out of the blue that will be
you'll learn, you'll grow, and you'll turn those challenges into opportunities. So always welcome them.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's nothing to be feared. So successful people take ownership and responsibility for their lives and do not live with regrets.
Yeah. So it's the only way. Taking ownership for what happens and responsibility is the only way that you're going to.
Because it's so easy to blame others, right? Oh, it's Mo's fault for this, and it's Mo's fault for that. Well, no, it's my. I should have been more organised. I should have communicated better.
The moment you complain or blame or justify, you're giving up control over your ability to control whatever that thing is. If you take ownership for it and responsibility, you can have control over that thing forever.
Indeed.
Forevermore.
So successful people do not let fear or limiting beliefs cripple them.
Yeah. So you might be scared of what you're going to go into next year, or you might have data from past years or past experiences that thinks you can't do something or you won't be able to do it. But you can't let that cripple you because otherwise you're never going to grow from where you are now.
Indeed.
That's important.
Control their environment.
Yeah. So it's
exactly what you just said, right? So that's both internal and external. Yeah. So if you are hanging around with lots of people in the pub and they're all quite negative, then that's probably going to rub off on you, right? Yeah. So we're not advocating you go and sack off all your friends. What we're saying is just be conscious and aware of it and maybe limit the time that you spend with them and choose to spend time with more positive people who can help propel and push you and support you along your success plan.
And that would be interesting to see as Alexander, your son, grows up. And you're like, what environment are you hanging around in, and what friends are you hanging around with?
I look forward to meeting his friends and vetting them
and telling him who he can't hang around with.
Read this book, boy. Otherwise you're not hanging around with my son. So successful people are effective communicators both internally and externally. Yeah. So what you say is what you are, right? Yeah. So if you say to yourself, I'm constantly depressed, I'm depressed, you probably will be. But if you say, right, okay, I'm a bit down today, but I'm going to get over it, and tomorrow's another day. So just reshaping things and reframing things into a more positive mindset.
And even just like, I think even just when people are like, oh, how are you doing? And people are like, oh,
I'm alive, I'm above ground.
Yeah. It's like you're then setting that as a program in your head for the whole day of like, oh, I'm all right. But if you're like, yeah, I'm great. A few challenges, but overall I'm good. I'm healthy. I'm grateful. I've got a vision. I've overcome challenges in the past. I'm going to do it again. That's a much better outlook. And
indeed. And you'll probably set the tone for the whole conversation. Yeah, and that's good. So successful people constantly take massive action.
Yeah.
Probably the most important one, right?
Yeah.
because if you're not taking action, then you're not going to go anywhere.
Definitely.
You can know all the theory in the world, but it won't make any difference if you don't start doing something. And finally, Mo, successful people maintain their traits consistently for long-term success. And this is very true in terms of, yes, okay, you may be taking action for the first few months in the new year, but if you're not consistently doing right throughout the year, then it's probably going to fade away and fizzle into nothing.
And that's really what we need to do with fitness this year, next year as well.
Okay, so maybe our listeners at home can hold us accountable, because I think that'd be really good thing. So that's just a very tiny snapshot of the book. So Your Success, you can find it on Amazon.co.uk. And
Amazon.com.
And Amazon.com, and we really look forward to people.
We've got to record the audio.
Yes, we do. Yeah, for our audio, for our Audible fans, right? And I hear, Mo, on BBC Radio, we might be making an appearance next month. And taking calls from listeners. Yeah. So that's always going to be a fun challenge, to try and help a complete stranger
and also,
on the radio.
Completely unplanned and could be any questions. So that'd be really exciting.
So hopefully my mum won't ring up again. So. Right, guys.
So I think there's a few thank yous that we want to do. So we want to thank Your Tax Partners. Our partners that have been supporting us on the podcast. It's been a really great year interviewing some of the guys there, and thank you for the support. Peter, Simon and Gordon, to name 3 specific people there. Thank you not to Your Tax Partners, but to our partners. You're welcome.
Gordon, Peter and Simon.
So thank you to Lucy and Thea for putting up with us.
Indeed, thank you.
This year. Thank you to all the guests that have been on the podcast. The podcast, if it was just us two, would be obviously pretty good. Yeah. But it's really made by the guests that come on and share their wisdom and share their experience for free. We don't charge for the podcast, so we can't pay the guests to come on, and so it's really good for them to take their time to sort of share their.
It is really appreciated, and the feedback we get from the thousands and thousands of people around the world has been outstanding. Yeah. So it's great, and thank you.
Thank you to everyone that bought the book.
Indeed.
So and hopefully, we've had a few testimonials already of people that said it's really changed sort of the way they think and how they live their life. So we look forward to hearing more of those as we sell more copies as well. So really, really happy with that. So thank you, and finally, thank you to all the listeners for the podcast. I mean, can you call it a podcast if no one listens to it? Sort of just a recording.
It's more like Billy No Mates, isn't it? Yeah.
Just me and you sort of just recording us listening.
It'd be awesome.
It would be good.
But it's a lot more awesome.
Is it like if a tree falls in the wood and no one hears it?
That's a good question. That's a very good question.
That's
one for the philosophers, no? But,
thank you to everyone that's listened.
We've got listeners all around the world. Our 3 biggest areas that listen to us are Plymouth in the southwest, London, and then California. And that's just outstanding, isn't it? And we've got listeners all over the world, in Peru, Southeast Asia, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Japan, all these amazing places that we never thought we'd reach, and they are consistently listening to us. So a massive shout out if you are from Peru or Saudi Arabia or Japan.
Get in touch if you're from any of those countries.
We've got Google Translate now. We'll understand what you're saying. It's no problem at all. But we really appreciate it.
Probably can write in English if they listen to the
you're probably right,
and also I think any suggestions for people that you want to see us interview or discussions you want us to have, send them in on hello@yoursuccesspodcast.com or via Facebook, Twitter or Instagram, because we're always open to new ideas and how we can serve our listenership next year. Don't forget to check out the book, packed full of tangible, actionable insight, as we've talked about loads. You can still head to tiny.cc/yourbook, hopefully, if that link's still working. But for now, I've been Mo.
And I've been Anglos.
Thank you for listening to Your Success Podcast in 2018, and see you again next year, 2019.
Brilliant. Thank you, everyone.
Cheers.
Your Success Podcast is proudly sponsored by Your Tax Partners. If you're in business or an active property investor, talk to them to better understand your tax affairs and your options. If that's you, there is a special offer waiting for you at tiny.cc/successpod. That's tiny.cc/successpod.
You have been listening to Your Success Podcast. Click subscribe for more incredible content. More details can be found at www.yoursuccesspodcast.com.